I will ask, well, first you'll get 2 minutes to tell a little bit about yourself, all the great things you've done with your life. And then we'll go back and ask questions. You have 1 minute to answer the question. And I'm gonna give you a hint. No fluff, just get to it. Or the 1 minute goes fast. Sometimes it doesn't go fast. You do not have to use the entire minute if you do not need to, but it does go quickly. So if I said to you, do you oppose taxes? Don't tell me about the last time you had to pay taxes. Say, yes, I do oppose taxes. No, I don't oppose taxes, and this is why, okay? That way we can get as much information out to everybody as possible. At the end, you get 1.5 minutes to be able to sum it up, tell us why you're the best candidate for this particular position. Another couple of things, we do have a anybody who has a 16-year-old or people who have not registered to vote and need to register to vote quickly, these cards have a QR code on it. They can scan it and you can quickly register. 16-year-olds are allowed to register, they just don't get their ballot until they're 18. And we also have a program, Vote 411. Let me tell you, to get this place, downloaded on there was a nightmare. So we hope we have it right. It will probably be going to the candidates for them to answer the questions. We're going to shoot for Monday, give them a couple of weeks, and then if you go to vote411.org, put in your address, it should pull up your candidate and their answers to questions. And if someone doesn't answer the questions, I don't vote for them. Because if they can't answer my questions, I'm certainly not going to vote for them. So I encourage everyone to do that. That gives you a little bit of an idea of where they come from things. Just a couple of questions. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to stand out here. I've done all of this wrong. This Fred Blickel. Fred Blickel is number 1. He's going first.
Good evening.
Oh, wait. I forgot to tell you. CJ right here, she's your timer. She has a pink pad that says you have 5 seconds and a yellow pad that says stop. And when it says stop, you need to stop. Or I hit you with the microphone.
Hard stop. Okay, thanks. How's the sound in the back? Good, baby in the air. That must mean it's good. I am Fred Blickley. You can call me Blickle if you want to. Most people do when they see my name, but it's actually pronounced Blickley. I think try to confuse people, maybe. I don't know. But I started coming here 20 years ago and fell in love with the valley, the beauty, all the things that are out there to do that I think many of my friends and neighbors enjoy, probably all of you too. And 6 years ago, I moved here full time, decided to make this my last home. So I've been a resident for 6 years. And by way of background, I'm a civil and environmental engineer, a licensed professional engineer in Utah and 4 other states. In my career, I've been a consultant for 40 years, started in Florida, Midwest, Michigan, California. Those are all kind of water-starved states, and you're going to hear more about water tonight, I'm sure. And that's really a big part of my background is groundwater. And so that's one of the strengths I bring to the table is my civil and environmental engineering. We will hear about ethics and conflict of interest. As an engineer, we have strong commitments, an oath actually that we take to protect human health and the environment in our actions. So that's what I would plan to do as a city council member. We have very clear conflict of interest guidelines, and I would say that's something that's important to bring forward. I'll just finish on personal. I'm a father of 4 grown boys. I'm a single father of 4 grown boys, 1 granddaughter, and 1 more on the way. So I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Oh, I should tell you that. We don't clap, or we take up all the time. The second person will be Carrie Cutler.
Okay, I'm excited to tell you a little bit about me. I raised my children in Utah in small rural mountain communities, and now as a full-time resident, I found my next chapter here in Eden. You might know me from seeing me out on the trails with my Bernarduno Fergus. He's quite the sidekick. My deep care of Ogden Valley drives my commitment to serve. For years, I've held a personal goal to serve my community on the city council, a dream I envisioned when my own family was young. I remember cutting out an article about a city councilwoman honored for her dedication for fighting for her community. And I thought, that's the kind of service I want to be remembered for. This isn't just a political aspiration, it's a calling to make a tangible difference in this community. I'm committed to being the citizen that rolls up my sleeves and gets things done for the community. Why I'm running? My professional life has uniquely prepared me for this role. I do community association management. I've maintained my real estate license for over 20 years, and I pay attention to the things that are going on in all the communities, the city governments where I manage communities. I'm accustomed to working collaboratively with boards, meticulously reviewing budgets, and developing long-term maintenance plans, and serving as an intermediary between diverse groups, homeowners, water districts, engineers, and contractors. My experience even includes developing a small 5-lot development in Elkridge, kind of like the benches here where I live. And so I know that in order to get development approved, you have to have water. I have been involved in Ogden Valley's incorporation process, and I've been actively listening and learning. I greatly appreciate the monumental efforts of those who truly laid the foundation for the establishment of this city. Ogden Valley has a thoughtful general plan created by our own community, and I believe in it. My aim is to carry that vision forward.
Okay, now we have Charles Graff. You go by Charles or Charlie?
Charles, I'm in trouble.
Charles?
so-
Oh, okay, you are, yeah, Charles.
I won't use the full 2 minutes if you guys want to clap at the end.
Don't you dare lie.
So I'm from Chicago originally, born and raised in the city. Found Eden 7, 8 years ago on a ski trip with some buddies. And when COVID hit in 2020,
Hold your microphone.
we came out to Eden to hide out for a couple weeks, and then we stayed. So came out kind of on vacation. I've been here ever since. I've got 2 boys here, 8 and 10 over at Valley Elementary School. But back in Chicago, I started out as an entrepreneur. 2005, after college, I was a teacher and a bartender. I was making twice as much money bartending than I was teaching. And so I decided I needed to go and do my own thing. And so I moved to the fitness and wellness space, and I opened my own health club in 2006 when I was 26 years old. And I'm still in that business now, 20 years later. So I'm an entrepreneur, and the hats that you have to wear to open, start, and operate a small business resembles to me like what we're going to be doing here in the next couple of years with the Valley. So you have to be able to negotiate, compromise, and be persistent, have character and grit. And those are kind of attributes that I have. That's what draws me to this opportunity. This wasn't on my radar a year or 2 ago, but I didn't want to be in the position coming up in the next few years and having this be hopefully my lifelong home for me and my kids, sitting on the sidelines and watching this opportunity go by or get messed up. And so I hope that my experience and what I've done in the past and my successes and my attributes here that I have will work well for this opportunity. And so in the past 5 years, real quick resume, I've volunteered at the Valley School. I've coached season-long sports for my boys for the last 5 years. I volunteered on the Parks Board for 3 or 4 years, and then the CFOB, the Community Foundation of Ogden Valley, for 3 or 4 years as well. So thank you.
That's bad, that takes up time. I'm gonna introduce Kay Ogden. I did it right, didn't I? Okay, she'll go. I will not be a-
Test. Fine. I'm Kay Hoagland, and thank you very much, Lee, for arranging this. Thank you all for attending. I've been coming to Ogden Valley my entire life. Caught my first fish right over there on some Velveeta, on a baited hook. I've been a 20-year homeowner up here. I know and you know how special this valley is, and I'm running to help us keep it that way. We're at a crossroads, you and the city. The first steps we take to set up our city will set the tone for generations to come. Failure is not an option. We need steady, experienced hands on the wheel. This is not time for novices. I am qualified, experienced, and tested. Yes, I am 69. I'm sorry for you younger folks. This will not be held against you. I'm a retired attorney, business leader, and active volunteer. I've managed $1 million budgets, brought them in under every single time. I've managed teams of myself and dozens of people. I've solved complex problems across disciplines of all types. I represented individuals right here on a pro bono basis, public employers, and Fortune 500 companies. So I've seen a broad expanse of needs, and I've solved problems across that. Most of all, I'm tested as a volunteer in this valley. I have been working on this incorporation for at least 18 months, starting as a volunteer. I ended up managing the campaign, which we won by record numbers, and I'm now a leader of the transition team. I'm retired. Stop. Okay.
You're retired and you're done.
Yeah, retired and I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Has everybody seen the warnings? No. Okay, I'll hold fire. Purple's 30 seconds.
Sorry,
30
yellow
seconds.
stuff. We usually have a clock that goes up. I can read it out here.
Testing.
Okay, I'm gonna say your name right. I'm gonna say your name right if it kills me. Matt Marshall McGonagall. Did I do it?
Sure.
Liar.
Good evening. My name is Marsh McGonigal. I live in Eden with my wonderful wife and our 2 children. I am very proud to be a multi-generational Ogden Valley resident. Of all the District 3 candidates, I am the most tenured resident, and I believe I hold the deepest roots here. Because of this, I am extremely passionate about preserving the unique character and quality of life that make our community so special. Beyond my family heritage, I believe that I am the most professionally qualified candidate. I hold a certification from the Utah Office of the State Auditor, and I was appointed to the Ogden Valley Park Service Area District to help bring the board back into state compliance, increase public transparency, and ensure proper use of your tax dollars. I also serve as vice chair for the Weber County Board of Adjustments, where we hear and decide on appeals and variances from the Weber County Land Use Code. This has given me a strong working knowledge of land use codes and ordinances and a clear understanding of how they have been interpreted and at times manipulated. I am prepared to create tight ordinances for responsible growth. In the private sector, I have held leadership roles in multiple industries, from startups to large companies. I have a long and proven track record with creating and managing budgets, as well as leading high-impact teams. I currently own my own business, and as Ogden Valley City won't be my first startup, I fully understand the grit, effort, and time it will take to make this new city successful. Looking ahead, my top priorities are ensuring responsible growth, protecting our open spaces and water, and maintaining the transparency and fiscal responsibility that our residents deserve. I believe in listening first and working together to find solutions that reflect our community's values. Thank you for your time and your commitment to Ogden Valley's future. This is our valley and your voice matters. Thank you.
Can you hear me with this? Does it go out far enough? Okay, good. I neglected to talk about the people who are not here. Benjamin Proud, is that how you say it? He did let me know that he was out of town. Lonnie, I don't believe I've ever heard from him. So take that as a note in your head. Also, I should tell you the people here who are volunteering from the league. Terrell St. John. We don't want you to ever clap first. CJ Hernandez, she's our timer. Isla Chase, Shelley Hillworthen, and who am I, Lisa, where are you? Oh, Lisa Szymanski. That's us. Okay, thank you for their help as well. Okay, short-term rentals. What is your opinion of a short-term rental? And what kind of policies do you believe should be in place for or against short-term rentals here in the valley? We'll start with you. You started last time, Carrie. You're up.
Have experience with short-term rentals. They're in most of the communities I manage. For this valley, it's a part of where we are. The county, we have zoning. There's where it's allowed and where it's not. The thing that we're missing is the enforcement. So most communities that have that have a registration process that includes safety checks, making sure that they have the items necessary in the event of an emergency, so that you can handle that. Because a lot of times they don't know what's going on in the communities where they live. So I'm not opposed to it. I just think this is something where we just need to have the enforcement on our ordinances. And it's something where when they register, we capture that information so that we can make sure we're collecting the small amount of taxes that come from it.
You just go.
So I own a short-term rental management company here in the Valley that I started about a year ago. So, but I also live here, so I understand kind of both sides of the coin with this. I definitely think the short-term rental properties need to be operated and managed like businesses because they are businesses. So they shouldn't feel that they have the same rights and operate as a personal residence when it is a business. They should have to pay their fair share of business license. I've had to pay business license. Homeowners that are renting their home should have to do the same. Regulation is the stick behind the whole thing. And so good systems in place for minimum night stays, noise ordinances, parking, and those types of things. It can't be something that can benefit the valley. But I've also advocated with builders to not have new developments allow short-term rentals. I think the valley, the short-term rentals.
There's a place for them. It's not in family neighborhoods. And the zoning regulation should be strictly enforced. I was involved in reforming the regulations in Weaver County. I worked on them word by word. The problem is they're not enforced. And the opportunity for our valley is the licenses need to be of a higher cost. They're minimal right now and not comparable to other resort destinations. I do want to say that I think there should be some consideration for seniors who might need some income to help pay their exorbitant property taxes. So what I had advanced for consideration and discussion but didn't get in there is there some kind of circuit breaker or senior status where we might have some type of income for our precious seniors? Thank you.
Test. Okay, so for short-term rentals, it comes down to zoning, regulation, and I just wasted the word, enforcement. If it's in the correct zoning and they have a business license, great, let's collect that transient tax. Let's make money for our community. If it's not zoned for it and they do not have a business license, then they should be fined and we can't have those just popping up everywhere. Thank you.
Short-term rentals are an important part of our community. I'm a big believer in having a vision, a plan, and then rules come after the plan, follow the rules. We have rules, follow the rules. Short-term rentals where they're allowed, where they're not allowed, don't have short-term rentals. And enforcement is certainly key. Weaver County does have enforcement, but it could be better. I did have a condo in Moose Hollow that I rented out when I wasn't there, short-term rental. I paid my transient tax, paid my sales tax. I sold that in 2017. Too much work to do, but yeah, I think we will continue to have them. We just got to manage them properly.
Thank you. What do you see as the city council's role working with the mayor and the planning commission. You haven't had that really before. What do you see as your role as a member of the city council working with the mayor and the planning commission? Charles, yeah.
So now, I mean, we're coming from a county situation down to even a smaller local government. And so that should work in our favor where, as your city councilman representative District 3, I'm really just gonna be a shepherd of District 3 and relaying those wishes and I guess popular demand and goals and vision to the mayor and to the planning commission. We've got a solid roadmap to follow with the Ogden Valley General Plan. And so I think if we keep that as our North Star, we should be able to wander too far off track with that. But without an agenda in place personally, you know, except representing the district, that would be my goal with working with the mayor and the council and planning commission.
Okay, in working with the mayor, I would do my foremost to support him or her in the agenda they want to set. At the same time, I would also try to influence them to get issues on the agenda that benefit District 3. I think we've got a great opportunity to have collective mind strength, collective brain trust, and we should all be working together. In terms of the planning commission, we should seek to appoint commissioners who do not have conflicts of interest. I personally wrote letters to the editor, talked to the county when there was a chairman who had a direct conflict of interest. There was one woman on the committee and everyone else had interest in real estate and construction. They were not representing the community. Finally, we need to have experts. We need to have engineers, water experts, and others on the planning committee. We need to listen. Finally, I'm done.
My role first and foremost will be to listen to the people, and then I'm going to bring that information to the mayor, and I will have trust in them. They will set agendas and they will run our meetings in a way that represents that and the will of the people. Again, same thing with the planning commission. If there's any type of conflict of interest, that's going to be a big issue. It's about what do the people want, and of course we will listen to the planning commission and listen to what they are suggesting. However, it needs to be aligned with the general plan that we enforce and with the will of the people. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, this brings up a very good point, that right out of the gate, we're gonna have 6 people that haven't worked together before, or unless they volunteered on the committees, and it's gone, you know, that hasn't gone on that long. So right out of the gate, November 4th election, first of the year, like January 6th, they're sworn into office. You've got 6 people that don't know each other that well, they're gonna have to work together. So that's the first order of business, is to work effectively. And I'll tell you that I've worked on projects throughout the United States on project teams, big and small, multi-million-dollar projects with teams that effectively managed and achieved our objectives. And that's what we need to do. And the planning commission is a very important part of that whole process.
Carrie Cutler, as a elected city council member, your job is to work with the other city council members. It's representing my district, but it's also hearing what the other districts in the valley represent and coming to a collaborative decision so that we can support that. Supporting the mayor. The mayor is the executive person. They're going to be the one who carries out the legislative decisions of the city council members. And then we're all going to work together to be hiring that planning commission. I think there's some creative ways we can address the planning commission. We can have our own. There are other communities that look to outsource those, have strict ideas and guidelines, and they're not as emotionally involved, and that can be contracted services. So there's different roles as a city council member with your fellow council members, with the mayor, how you can support them, and then also with that planning commission by the ordinances. And the most important part of that, I think, is the follow-up and the Sorry, I can't remember the enforcement. Thank you, Kay.
How have each of you been involved and supported this transition into an actual city? To an actual city? How have you been involved during the transition into a city of Ogden Valley?
First, I volunteered for about a year before we got the election done. But then I swiftly moved over to the transition team, and I recruited a lot of wonderful people to be part of the transition. We have an open door. We have over 180 people who volunteered. After that, they need to be organized. I'm an organizer. We had an organizational structure built around critical issues. And many of the people you heard tonight are working within that. What I am personally responsible for is finance and administration. And also, I participated in helping to recruit candidates. We have a bounty crop of candidates, so I think we have success on all sides. My role now is to help support the candidates, research their questions, help educate them. Starting up a city is going to be the major difficulty, and it will not be easy. I'm ready to do it.
So how have I helped the transition? I've attended a few of the transition team meetings. I'll be honest, only about 3 or 4. I've done them as I can. I've spent, however, a lot of time out in the community, making myself publicly available more than any other candidate. I don't know if you've ever seen me, I'll usually be posted up on Saturdays in front of Club Rec and Wolf Creek Drive. I've been out in Eagle Ridge, out in the preserve. I've been meeting with constituents and learning about their concerns and trying to find out what do we really need to make this work. I had a meeting with Sheriff Arbon, and it was fascinating to learn from him just the things that he would be expecting if we do choose to contract the Weaver County Sheriff, and just to learn about some of those other shortcomings. I've been to the county, I've asked them about different services they could provide, what some of those numbers may look like, how they looked historically. I've been doing my own research to make sure that I'm ready and that I'm well educated when that transition time starts. Thank you.
I want to say the transition team has just done an amazing job of setting things up and going forward. And I would tell you that as somebody who's managed many, many projects, I look at what they have done, and I don't think I've changed anything. So they've done a great job. And I personally, I'm on Janet Wappler's Codes and Ordinances Committee, where we review all the codes. I see Doug back there. He was on that too. We've made comments on those, and that goes to a Google Drive that anybody can look at. And, that's going to be there for the council, the new council members and the mayor when they take office. And I'm on the garbage, recycling and sustainability committee. And I like how it goes from garbage to recycle to sustainability.
Okay, I have participated. I moved into the valley at the time that we were gathering signatures and petitions to get the vote to go through. I attended the wonderful incorporation events, answering homeowners' questions about where the boundaries were and different kinds of things. I have been on Janet's committee to review all of the land use ordinances, and also on Kay's committee as the administration and how are we actually going to administratively do. So I've been doing all of those things, learning and listening as much as I can, so that if elected, I'm ready to participate and carry forward all that knowledge.
Going back to when we were working on winning the election to peel off and become our own city. I use my own business, the Drip Coffee Shop in town, next to Valley Market there. Really put ourselves out there and a stake in the ground for this transition and to get the vote out, to get the signatures. We used that location, became a primary location to gather signatures for a petition, for marketing and a sounding board for what we were trying to do. Also on the pavement in our neighborhoods to get petition signatures as well. Thank you.
What types of improvements and regulations will you put in place to ensure the safety of the roads into and out of our valley?
Road improvements and regulations, that's interesting. I think one of the things that's gonna be very curious to find out is what are the state, or to know exactly what can we do where you transition from a state road to a city road? Whether that is, I don't believe, I'm not a UDOT expert. If this is something that was brought up in a city council meeting, I would vote to table it until I had more information. However, speaking theoretically, if we were allowed to, I definitely want to adjust as far as looking at what are speed limits. I know we have a new roundabout being built currently in Huntsville. When you approach that construction area currently at 50, it can't be safe. So it's just something I would definitely put deep thought into it. I'd have to go through, do the proper homework to learn from UDOT. What can we and can't we do when it comes to our roads? Thank you.
So as a civil engineer, I'm not a transportation engineer, but I know a thing or two about roads. What I would do is to start off with a study. I don't think you should do anything without a good plan first. And if we have concerns about the roads, I would collect information from our residents here as to, where they see problems, where they've run into problems. And then I would commission a road study and get some recommendations from a transportation engineering firm. Is the best way to go, in my opinion.
Best way to make decisions is by gathering data. I think using technology that we have available now to poll the residents about their areas of concern is important. And I also like to utilize experts. So I'm with Fred on that. We need studies to gather information so that we can make informed decisions. Then as a council member, I would be researching what types of ordinances they have in other communities. The roundabouts have been very popular. They're typically pretty safe. Signage is also important, making sure that they get restriped with the fluorescent iridescent so that you can see things. And those are the types of things. They also have solar stop signs that light up and warning signs that can be implemented. So again, I would utilize experts on a study and gather information from homeowners and residents on what they feel is important.
I think picking up after the technology.
Green light.
Kind of picking up where they left off on gathering information, figuring out what the needs are, the concerns are, doing the studies, getting the information, what we can and can't do, what kind of traffic, what kind of automobiles, trucks, and things like that are allowed to pass through the canyons and over the roads and through the rivers there. Then we can, the nice thing is we can move quickly on this kind of thing, and it's important to us, and we're hyper-focused on it. So the ability that we can take the concerns, do the research, and then implement these things right away in our community and not have to wait years and years and years, I think is an exciting part of being involved with small local government. And we can put these changes in place right away, and we'll be able to see the benefits immediately.
Okie dokie. First of all, state roads will not become city roads, nor will county roads necessarily become city roads. I agree with all of the above. We need to have professionals give us advice. We need to talk with Sheriff Arbonne. We may need more officers out there during critical periods. We do need the cameras to identify perpetual violators, and we need to nail them, frankly. They are putting us at risk. There's a bigger question. The question was, what about in and out? The access in and out is limited and dangerous. First of all, we must make sure in our emergency planning, which Vicki McKinney is heading up, that we have plans to account for the limitation of egress and ingress to our valley when we face an emergency. Plus, like Don, sorry, you're my friend, Don. Like Don has done when he was on the planning commission, he voted against large developments because it was too much traffic and dangerous in and out of the valley.
Okay, we're back over here to Fred. I'm gonna say it that way. Beyond the immediate tasks of starting the city, how are you going to unite the areas of our community?
Get a big band and run it down Main Street.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be important for the council members, the 5 council members to work together. I would, personally commit to reach out to them, like I reached out to the mayoral candidates and, offered to have conversations and learn about their platforms. And, we're all people, and we need to understand who we're working with as a person, I think, first and foremost. So we need to get to know each other as council members and as mayor and understand what each person's objectives are. And as representatives of the different seats, we represent the people in those districts or seats. So, first we got to understand that, and then we got to come together as council members.
Okay.
How are you going to unite the people here in the valley?
Unite the people. I think we need to continue what we have been doing. The transition team and all the committees, that is the way you keep it going. That is the way we hear best from you. I get complaints all the time. People talk about transparency. Well, there's a part of transparency that involves you as the residents of this community and you continuing to participate. If I'm not elected this year, you will see me back in 2 years. I'm going to continue my participation and I challenge the rest of you to do the same. So if there's something that you're passionate about, I think we're going to need some type of water liaison within the community to liaise with amongst all the private water companies. We're going to need people to say things about the roads. Snow removal in the valley is important, especially with us starting in January, but our road maintenance plan is something that's definitely on my view.
This is a great opportunity for us as city councilmen and mayors to lead and serve by example. The tone and temperature that we set in the city council while we carve this out from scratch will trickle through, I think, to our districts. There's no reason that this opportunity has to be contentious or overly heated, but an opportunity for us as a community and valley to come together. I think there's a lot more things here that bind us than separate us, but we all have our own kind of interests too, agriculture, commercial development, short-term homes, second homes, our children here, retiring. So there's a lot of threads we have to weave together. But I think these type of meetings here where we can all get together and just talk and speak to each other will help push it a long way.
We need to unite. At the same time, we have to respect the traditions of the various areas of the valley. How do we unite? One of the things we've done in transition is we have the most fun committee, city culture. They're going to bring us all together and we get to write songs. We get to design a flag. We may even identify our favorite state or our favorite valley fish. Not those ones with the big teeth, please. It will be fun. It will give us a group identity, but also we need citizen involvement. One thing that we have done in the transition team to bring people together is to start roundtables. We've had 2 so far. We welcome the opportunity to do more. Seniors and youth, please step forward. We've had roundtables on ag, asking them, how can this new city best support you? We've had roundtables on small businesses. It's related to ag because we need to support small businesses by advancing and protecting ag. So recognize the interrelationships.
I mean, as far as bringing the community together, I don't feel that we're currently divided. So I think we're already a very united valley. So I think we keep that going. Something I would love to do is invite more people to be involved. There's a history, whether it's Weaver County Commission meetings, local board meetings, of people not feeling comfortable participating. We need to change that culture to where public forums are a safe and comfortable place where we want people involved. That's what I really care about. That's why I'm out in public more than anyone. I'm talking to people, my face is on signs. I want you to know who I am. I want to be approachable. The only way that we really truly come together and we have success is if we work together.
Okay, question. How do you see the new city government address conflicts of interest, some between developers and some with residents?
Conflict of interest is pretty simple. It's asking a question and disclosing it, and if you have any conflicts, you abstain from voting on it. You make it clear, you put it out there, you make it public. How do you do that? I mean, if you're a council member, you should have the integrity to do that without being asked, and you say that up front. It should be known without being asked. When it comes to developers, we'll be disclosing campaign contributions here at the beginning of August. Those are, so there's mechanisms in place, but the best thing we can do is have an ethics policy and practice set of guidelines on how to address that, but it's usually pretty clear. You abstain if you have one.
Is that what you meant by the question?
Questions about conflict of interest. How are you going to manage that?
That's not how I took the question of conflict of interest. I mean, if you have one, you have to abstain, stay out of it, remove yourself from the situation. But as far as, I was looking at that question as conflict of interest between developers, residents, and whatnot is, from the very get-go, we need to carve out transparent and sustainable projections and a future plan for us so that everybody knows what we're looking at. What's the plan for 10, 20, 30 years down the road for development, for zoning? How does that interact with us who are currently here as residents? So when we know when there's a new plan proposed, there's not going to be changes of zoning and new rules in place and shifting sands beneath us. So as far as conflict of interest, if we can get in front of that in the first couple of years of setting up this city council in the city, then that's going to be the guardrails for the future down the road.
This is real simple. We need a new conflict of interest policy. It needs impartial investigation and it needs to be enforced. My husband investigated the conflict of one of our commission members and we followed it up to the state and back to the county. It was weak and it was an embarrassment. But ethics starts right here. When we filed our candidacy declaration, there was an optional disclosure of potential conflicts. I was the only one who filled that out. I am representing in litigation a lawsuit, and I disclosed that. But we have people who are on this dais who work for developers, who place their signs on Lewis property and Flora property, and are really campaigning from there. And I think that needs to be explained and on its face. It's already a conflict.
I mean, everyone said such great things already. Just would echo really like what Carrie said. I mean, there's clear guidelines from the state on conflicts of interest. That's something that everyone should be very open with. It's very easy. Set up your ethics off the get-go. We should know, what do we do for work? Who do we work for? Who are we retired from working for? Who did we previously work for? We need to be willing, if you're a candidate, willing to put it all out there and be fully transparent. Where if there's a conflict, obviously you should abstain from any votes. And again, we just have to be honest.
So conflict of interest, different than ethics, two things we need to have as part of our charter, in my opinion. First off, the conflict of interest, we got to define what that means. And I think what it means is if you personally will benefit financially from a decision that you may enter in on, that seems like a no-brainer. Doesn't mean you can't be a council member but you have to recuse yourself from that particular situation. So that's, to me, very simple thing that we can do quite quickly, is that council members can't act on things where they have a personal financial benefit, and they need to disclose that. By the way, I have no financial interest in the valley other than living here. My business, I work part-time with my own consulting business on work out of the valley.
The water study that was done states that the water providers currently in Ogden Valley are not. Let's try that. The water study states that water providers currently in Ogden Valley are not able to meet the needs for growth. What recommendations do you have?
Yeah, I think this study was done about 2 years ago. It was presented to the commissioners. It was also distributed, I think, here through the valley as well. And some of that conclusion and recommendation that came from that was, I think, kind of glossed over when it was presented to the commissioners or relayed publicly to the valley. So, I mean, it makes sense to me that, you know, this natural resource water, I mean, this should be guiding the majority of our decision making. It's a limited resource. We can't operate, we can't live here without it. And so everything should stem from there. That study was done 2 years ago. I think before making any decisions on future development, we need to revisit that study and then potentially 1 or 2 others, and not just have one study to look at. But it's unclear to, I think, everybody, do we have enough water? Do we not have enough water? Where are we getting this water from? You know, but it seems like we're all putting straws into the same fishbowl down there. So we need to get a clear plan, and then let that guide the development and the future programming.
Thanks. Big issue. I think you're referring to the Bowen Collins study, which found when it was presented at a work commission to the county commissioners, Jan and I were listening to that. There was a slide there that said no for development and no more wells to be drilled. Mysteriously, that slide disappeared from the final presentation. And yet we hear from the developers, from the county commissioners, we got plenty of water. You know, when in doubt, be conservative. We should not advance development at the expense of our current residents. And you know one more thing? Suing our water districts will not create more water. And when they sue our water districts, they are suing you. So we need to stand by our districts, stand by conservative use of our water.
I've reviewed, there's 2 water studies on the Weber County website, which I've reviewed them both. One of them, it definitely looks sparse. The other one, depending on how you interpret it, could say there's ample water. Something that's interesting, makes it such a hard matter to deal with, is water is managed by the state. So that's what power do we have? There's also so many water companies in the Ogden Valley, and to where it's hard for who's issuing what, how do we deal with the 60+ water companies that are up here? I would propose, because I don't know how hard it would be, or I know I've spoken to a few of the water companies, they don't want to be engulfed into the city, they don't want to go away. I would love to try to start a Ogden Valley Water Board where we could bring all the different water companies to the table so we can start to have a full, clean picture of what's available from each of the water companies. Thank you.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. So my days in Florida, Florida had a statewide water management district, and they then had regional water management districts. That really would be, in my opinion, what we need here. It's not going to be easy, but it would be nice to have a water management district within our valley that would help mitigate these conflicts of people running into each other. And just so you know, it's the Division of Water Rights, DWRI, that issues water use permits in the state of Utah, and they're a division under the Department of Natural Resources. So and we should absolutely check off some boxes before any development's approved. Do they have water? That's issued by the DWRI. Do they have wastewater capacity? Do we have roads, infrastructure, fire, et cetera? So.
We know water, the rights come from the state, but we have all the private entities in the community. That's the biggest thing that I would like to focus on. I follow that. In Park City, there were 3 entities, and Snyderville had to get involved in that. Unless we help support those water entities in increasing and improving, we already have development that's approved that 2 years ago, and where I live, there was a halt on permits. You couldn't build a home because there wasn't. So we first need to evaluate and assess what development's already here that we still need to be able to provide, because if you can't build on your lot, it doesn't really have much value. So that's an important thing, and I think how the council supports those private water entities is going to be really important in our community going forward.
Okay, time is wrapping up. I tried to put as many questions that you had that were on the same topic together, tried to get them so that that was covered. Hopefully, they will answer, some of your people will answer the Vote 411 questions and be able to answer some of the other questions that you have. Don't be afraid to contact them. And I want them to know how much we appreciate the fact that they are running for office. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like standing up and telling everybody about my business. And I mean, they open themselves wide up. So first, they deserve a round of applause before we. Okay, we'll have a minute and a half now for them to tell you how wonderful they are and why you should vote for them. Start with Kate.
Yes, we are all wonderful. But I'm the candidate who's qualified, experienced, and tested. And you've seen how fired up I get over these issues, but I'm really a nice person. I'm retired, unlike others. I can vote 100% of my time, and I have no conflicts. My employer is not a developer. I've not been appointed to commissions by the county commissioners, so I'm not beholden. My priorities, strong startup. If we don't get that right, the rest will fall apart. Frugal management of our dollars, planning per the general plan, robust ethics, no more needs to be said, total overhaul, and collaboration amongst ourselves and with other elements of government. The county, we cannot be at war with them. The state and feds, there's money to be got there. We could be fiery, but we gotta be nice. Finally, I am doing this out of love for the valley. You know, nothing can make you more passionate than really living here and knowing what's at risk here. I'm going to ask for your vote because I want to finish the work that we started with incorporation. We've barely begun. Starting up the city is much harder. Here's the law. It's not a startup company. We need a lawyer who can help you apply the law.
First things first, I just want to thank you all for listening to me ramble this evening. I'm sure you can all tell how nice and nervous I am. I've never done anything like this, so it's been a good time. Just like to share, I love this Ogden Valley. I'm a multi-generational resident. I'm the most tenured resident here. My family's here. I have kids that are here. I truly care about what's going to happen 30 years down the road. I'm not looking for making it just through my retirement. I really care about keeping your property taxes in line. As somebody, I'm not a wealthy individual. As property taxes go up, I could easily be priced out of this valley, even though I own my home. I genuinely care about people being here and our residents being able to stay here because we love this valley. I'd like to just reiterate some of my priorities as we move forward would be ensuring responsible growth. Again, I'm the only candidate here who actually has a working knowledge of land use codes. I've been on the board when people are fighting to have those variances granted. I know what those loopholes are, and I can help make those tight and strong to where we don't have anyone trying to abuse us. I have a strong record of just being super eager and being gritty. I'm the youngest one up here. I want to get things done. I have the energy to make it happen. I'm eager to learn. As you know, I've met many of you over the past few weeks. I just wanted to learn. And I think that's something that'll be great as we move forward. I'm really trying to bring everyone to the table. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First, thanks, Terry and League of Women Voters. My mama was right about the League of Women Voters. She told me a long time ago the value that they have for bringing information to the public. So we've heard a lot of things tonight, a lot of great ideas. I think I'm very anxious to follow up on them and take action on them. I want to tell you that I'm used to working on difficult assignments throughout my 40-year engineering career. And this will be a difficult assignment. There's a lot to be done. We're not sliding into an existing seat and taking over from there. We're going from scratch. A lot of good work that has been done, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. I have the time and I have the interest to do it. And I think I'm the right person that you want on the city council moving forward with my skill set and background. And if you go to my campaign website on Facebook, you'll see one of the things I say is I listen more than I speak. So I'm going to give up 30 seconds to go.
Okay, Carrie Cutler. You go to carriecutler.com. There's more on my website, but I truly do have passion. This has been a long time goal of mine to be on the city council. If I'm honest, I'm not going to overly inflate my qualities. Kay here's got it nailed. But I do offer the residents of this community a different perspective, a unique perspective that's just like this valley. I manage the communities that these developers build. The insight into what documents they put together and the quality of their construction or lack thereof. We're also going to be going into a greater time of development and push for this valley with the upcoming Olympics. If we don't recognize that that's coming, we're being foolish. It's going to get even more than what we've already had. So the ordinances that we adopt and reading through all of those, that's what I'm committed to do. I'm committed to putting in the time to research to make the best decisions for this community. And I'm going to concede my time.
Okay. Is this working now? Good? Perfect, all right. They saved the best for last, so thank you guys for staying. I'm gonna read the last part here. I haven't been using my notes for the majority of it, but this is important. So, experience, integrity, community. That's kind of my headline for why I'm running and what I think explains me the best. But I'm excited to serve and the opportunity to serve as a member of the city council. With over 20 years of running a small business, I've learned perseverance, dedication, and practical problem solving. My experience has taught me how to balance growth with community values, ensuring fair, transparent decision-making aligned with our shared values. As I mentioned before, I visit for the mountains and recreation, stay for the people and the community that define our valley. I'm committed to improving the quality of life for everyone in our community, families, seniors, youth, business owners, and thus alike. As a resident of Eden for over 5 years, as a dad, a business owner, a coach, a volunteer, a board member of the CFOV and OBPSA, I've had a unique perspective of our community's challenges and opportunities. I'm dedicated to serving with the honesty to create a fair and sustainable and vibrant place for our future generations. I will support the policies that promote reasonable governance, sustainable growth, and active citizen participation. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for coming. Please remember that this election is a nonpartisan election. Search for the person, not the party, the person that will match your needs the most, and you'll have the right candidate.